The Victoria sponge cake, a perfect treat for afternoon tea, a birthday, or just a regular Tuesday. A cake made with soft vanilla sponge filled with fresh cream and strawberry jam. Let me show you how to make this. Now grab yourself a large bowl. You're going to be mostly working out this bowl, so make sure it's big enough. Crack your eggs one at a time into the bowl and separate the egg yolk from the white. We're going to be using both of them but at different stages. You can use whatever method you like to separate the yolk. I personally like to use my hand, it's just simpler and easier, but you can use the spoon, the bottle method, or whatever you like. Just make sure that you do separate the yolk from the white completely. Now we're going to make our meringue. This is what we'll be using to give the cake some weight without using baking powder or any leavening agent. So whip up your eggs at medium to high speed until they form soft peaks. You'll see what I mean shortly. Right there. So those type of peaks is what you're after. As soon as you reach that stage, add your sugar in stages. So I'd say in about portions of 3 or 4. As the sugar dissolves and mixes into the egg whites, it will stiffen up the whole mixture. Now I am using caster sugar here. It's a lot more fine and a lot easier to dissolve. You can also use granulated sugar. You just may have to whip up the mixture for a bit longer than you would if it was caster sugar. Once you have added all your sugar, keep mixing for another minute. Your meringue will have stiffened up really well and formed high peaks, like this. Now we're going to carry on with the recipe by hand. So put away your hand mixer and add in an egg yolk one at a time and fold it into your mixture. You don't want to whip it. That will get rid of all the air that you have incorporated into your egg whites, which is exactly what you don't want to do. So slowly but surely add in your egg yolks 1 or 2 at a time, like I just did there, and fold that well into your mixture. Now sift in your flour and salt. You want to do this in stages and not one huge lump at a time. So take your sieve and fold in your flour into the batter. Now as you can see, I am trying to fold the flour into the mixture and not whipping it. This will just make a cake that's very dense, which is what we are trying to avoid. We want an airy and soft spongy cake. So slowly but surely, carefully fold the flour into the batter. You will see that every time you add flour to the batter, it first becomes quite tough to mix, and especially if you are trying to be careful and just folding it like I just said. But as you can see in the video, it will start to loosen up and it will become a lot easier to mix. So just have some patience and continue with that smooth folding motion. Now in a bowl that has your milk, vanilla and oil, give it a quick mix and add that onto your batter. This is going to give the cake a bit of creaminess. So at this point what we want to do is, once the liquid has been added in, at first you want to fold it with a whisk, making sure that it's really incorporated with the batter, and then switch to a spatula to make sure you can grab the sides of the bowl and really mix it well. As you can see, the batter is no longer stiff and is quite loose, which means it's ready to bake. We don't want to work it any further, it will cause a denser cake. So grab your cake tin and get ready to bake. I am using a 6-inch cake tin which is 4 inches tall, so it will result in quite a tall cake. Now you can use this recipe to create yourself 2 different 6-inch layers by using 2 different cake tins as well. The choice is entirely up to you. Regardless of what you're doing, grease your cake tin well, line it with the baking paper, and flour the sides of the tin. Now you can also use baking paper to line the wall of the cake tin, that's entirely your preference. I personally have always just floured the sides and never really had a problem. Put the flour in, tap it alongside the cake tin and get rid of any excess. Make sure your oven is preheated at 150 degrees. I do it now, but if your oven takes longer, do it a bit before. Now add the batter into your cake tin. Just make sure you scrape every single drop you have in your bowl. Run a knife through your cake batter. What this will do is get rid of any large bubbles in your batter. Finally, pick up your tin and let it drop a few times against the counter. This will get rid of the smaller bubbles. Now, in it goes into the oven. Once out of the oven, run a sharp knife through the edge of the cake. This will make it easier to get it out of the tin. Let that cool for 15 minutes and flip onto a plate. As you can tell, the cake has cooked beautifully and has that lovely golden color. Remove the baking paper. You can now have the cake as it is, which I highly recommend. If that's the case, flip the cake upside down again and place it onto a plate. Or place it on a wire rack and let that cool for about an hour, just so that it's at room temperature if you are looking to do a Victoria sponge just like we are. Now add in double cream onto a bowl. I'm using the extra thick kind because I like mine thick with 25 C's. Now whip your double cream until you get into the middle stage between soft and high peaks. It happens very quickly, so just look out for that. Now add your powdered sugar into your cream. As you can tell, the sugar just flies everywhere. So what I like to do is sieve the sugar into the cream and first slowly mix it with a spatula. Once it's fully incorporated, I finish it with a hand mixer. As soon as your cream becomes thick, you know it's ready. Don't mix any further, you just end up making butter. You want your cream to look like this. I have a cool little gadget to cut my cake layers into even slices. They're like little stabilizers, I guess if you want to call them that, which you put at the end of your knife, or each end of your knife, at the selected height, and that will allow you to cut even layers. I'll put the link down below. While we're here, come on guys, subscribe, it's free, support your brother. Just click on the subscribe button below, we have a lot more recipes coming your way. You won't regret it. As you can see, I've cut both sides of the cake and boom, there you have it. Very evenly, clean cut layers. Now let's cut the strawberries. I have about 8 to 10 there. And I have decided to cut them in circles. What this allows is for even and more level layers. Let's fill that piping bag with the cream. Another cool trick, just put your piping bag into a large tumbler or large glass. Once it's fully wrapped in, you are able to add your cream in a much cleaner and easier fashion. Add all the cream into the bag, making sure you really pack it in well, and you'll be ready to pipe. The piping bag will allow me to have, again, more even layers, but feel free to just add your cream using a spatula or spoon. The cake assembly. Grab your cake and take off the top tier. Use really good quality jam. I found one that has a lot more fruit content, which is exactly what you want. Add a spoonful of jam onto your layer and spread evenly. If you are using the piping bag method, leave the edge of the cake untouched. It will make sense why in a minute. Now add a ring of cream around your jam and at the edge of the cake layer. What this will do is create a barrier that will prevent the jam from seeping out of the cake. Add your strawberry slices above the jam. Now finish off by adding another layer of cream above the strawberries. This will now seal the strawberries in the cream. Now you don't actually have to finish it off with more cream on top, but if you're the type of person that doesn't like cream in their cake, we probably shouldn't be friends. Level your cream with a spatula, taking it to the edge of the cake. It's okay if it goes beyond the edge, we'll be able to clean that up later. Place the top layer onto the cake and gently press down to make sure that it sticks. To create that clean cake look, just go around the edges of the cake with a spatula. Decorate the cake with any remaining cream that you have. Be as creative as you like. Use piping tips if you want, or you can just go after a rustic look like I am by just freehanding it. Now to top it off, I'm adding another layer of jam, and then we'll finish with some fresh fruit. Again, be as creative as you would like. There you have it, a classic Victoria sponge cake. Now before you stuff your face in it, let's finish in style, shall we?